Hello crochet lovers, welcome to class 3 for our crochet challenge, this cute crochet doll. In the pull down eye, you can find the entirety of this challenge from the very beginning. In last class, we learned to make the torso for our doll, and today we'll learn to make the legs. We'll begin the legs with the slip knot, and we'll chain 2. The link to the written pattern can be found in this video description. This will be our central ring, the first chain, and in there we'll make 8 single crochet stitches. That will be row 1. So we make 1 single crochet, then 2, and so on until we have 8. The 8th single crochet may be a little hard to make, but it's always possible to make it, so we should be able to count those 8 single crochets, 8 top loops. We need to mark the end of the row or the beginning, do what's better for you. And for row 2, we'll make 8 increases. This would be the first increase, which means 2 single crochets in the same hole. That's our second increase. Then 1 and 2 single crochets for the third increase. And we keep going until we have 8. I'll make the 8th increase right where the marker was because I set the marker in the final stitch of the row. You can set it wherever you want, just make sure it marks the change of rows. Right now, we'll begin with row 3, which is made of 4 single crochets and 4 increases. Then 4 single crochets and 4 increases. I'll show you. In the beginning, we make 4 single crochets. 1, then the second one in the next stitch, then another in the next stitch, and in the following one, the fourth. Those are our 4 single crochets, and now we make 4 increases, 1 and 2 single crochets in the same stitch, then 1 and 2 single crochets in the same stitch, and so on until we have those 4 increases one after the other. We repeat this sequence so that by the end of the row we have 24 stitches. And then we begin row 4 with 3 single crochets, 1, 2, and 3 single crochets, and then we make 10 double crochets. You heard that right, 10 double crochets. So we make the first one. In the next stitch we make 1 more double crochet, and so on until we make 10. By now, you can see this will be the front part of our foot. And after those, we make 11 single crochet stitches to close our row. For row 5, we begin with 3 single crochets. And now we'll make 5 decreases. 1 decrease per each pair of double crochets. Remember that I selected the third option for the decreases, which is just to skip 1 stitch. You should use the decrease you have selected for the rest of the doll. I showed you the options in class 1. So I'll just make 5 decreases in a row. And after those, we make 6 single crochets to get to the part of the heel of the foot, the back part, where we'll make 1 decrease more. After the 6 single crochets, we make 1 decrease, and we make 3 single crochets more to finish the row. We make those 3 single crochets, and that's it for this row, where we'll end up having 18 single crochet stitches. We set the marker at the end of the row again, and then we begin with row 6, which is made by 18 single crochets. We just need to make 1 single crochet in each stitch available. After this, we begin row 7, which begins with 4 single crochets. That was the fourth one. Then we make 2 decreases. So look for the first pair of stitches to make the first decrease. And right next to it, we look for the next pair of stitches for the second decrease. Don't worry, we won't be making any more decreases. And now we'll make 10 single crochets. With the 10th single crochet stitch, we'll be finishing this row, and we just need to go up now. We have finished making the foot. So we'll now make the leg. From row 8 to row 39, we'll be crocheting in spiral, just making 1 single crochet in each stitch available. These rows are made of 16 single crochet stitches. And from time to time, we'll stop to add the filling. I suggest we do this every 10 rows. And then we go back to making those 16 single crochets per row. When we get to the end, we won't add filling up to the brim. We should stop about 2 rows before the end. This is to allow the mobility of the legs once they are attached to the doll. And we should also take advantage of these moments to measure the leg. It should be the length of 1.5 heads. This is my suggested measure, in order to maintain some of the proportions of our doll. Now we'll finish the last row, whichever number it is. For me, it's 39. But if you need to make more or less, you can do them. We get to the end of the very last row, and now we'll stitch this together with single crochets. So we insert the hook in the next stitch, and then in the equivalent one from the back, and we make 1 single crochet to stitch both sides together. We go to the next stitch, we insert the hook front and back, and then we make the single crochet. And this is how we'll attach the front stitches with their equivalent in the back, until we finish the row. We should approximately have 7 single crochet stitches once we have finished stitching together the top of the leg. So now we just cut the yarn, leaving a thread of about 20 centimeters so we can attach it with that leg to the torso. We cut the yarn and remove the hook. And then we make another leg with the same instructions so that it's as similar as possible, but keep in mind we'll never make 2 exact pieces. So just try to make them in the same size. Try to add the same amount of filling, so that they are as similar as possible, although they will always have some differences. After we finish the legs, it's time to attach them to the body. So we go to the base of the torso, and in those corners from the first row, remember we made 4 stitches per corner, that's where we'll start attaching the legs. We'll be working towards the front of the doll. Leave a lot of space behind so that the doll can be seated properly. And now, don't be afraid and insert the needle so that you can attach 1 stitch from the torso and 1 from the leg. 1 from the torso and 1 from the leg, until we finish the first line. After that, I suggest you go over the stitches 2 or 3 times, as many as you deem necessary so that the leg is firmly attached and that a baby or a small child doesn't detach it so easily when pulling on the legs. By the end, we make a knot to fix the yarn, and then we hide the thread inside the leg or the torso, like we've done with the other threads in this project. The other leg has the thread on the other side, but we'll make it match the corner from the torso's first row. And I'll see you next Tuesday. In that class, we'll learn to make the arms, and we will also begin to making the details for the face of our doll, so don't miss out! Also remember to click on the bell so you'll receive notifications from us. Have a great day, crochet lovers!